deal. Now let's welcome to Dr. Hank Seitz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. What a group of people just filled with that energy, that love. Oh, you could feel it. And we heard about it, and so we're going to hear today about contrast. So loving contrast to know what you want. Do you know that we were born, before we were born, we couldn't wait to get back here. And we couldn't wait to get back to this world that has this perfect contrast of everything we want and everything we don't want. And that contrast, my friends, is the very thing that creates expansion, creation, and what we're talking about today is manifestation. If you wouldn't have had the things you didn't want, it would be impossible to have the things that you want. So you want to love this contrast, and that will help you to know what you want, which is what Tanya's principle is. First principle is to know what you want. So take a look at this, and what is that a picture of? What is that? Oh, it's a duck, is it? Oh, it's a rabbit. Do you see the duck and the rabbit? One picture, same picture, in your handout. And it's either a duck or a rabbit. And guess who makes call the shots on that? Who gets to make that choice? Yeah, you do. And that is all of life. So let me share with you that, and by the way, I get emotional about this stuff, and so I haven't been able to kneel because my knees are about 3 inches higher than where they should be because of the miraculous car experience I had. But I'm going to kneel on this one, that know that every particle in the universe has within it everything that you want and everything that you don't want, and it is up to you to choose on what you're going to focus on. So let me share on what do you want. And so be thinking about that, and nothing is birthed without the contrast, with the things that you didn't like, the stories you talked about the ex, or about the things that were painful to you, or that hurt you, or that you didn't like, that all of those things birthed for you the things that you did want. There is no good or bad per se in the world, even though we've been brought up with that everything is either good or bad. Really what everything is wanted or unwanted, and just like you choose whether it's a duck or a rabbit, so you choose on every moment, every experience that you have the power to choose on, do I want this? Can I see the wanted in it? Or do I see the unwanted in it? That 6 weeks ago, I was involved in what most would call a car accident. That it actually was a divine intervention. Everything is a divine intervention when you start looking at it with the eyes of what Christians would say, from the eyes of Christ, or the eyes of God. And so start looking at all of life and your life and every experiences that you've had in your current moment, and then what will be, and start looking for the wanted, on what you want. I call it the miraculous car experience that I was involved with. And here it is. Oh my God. Yeah, that's my brand new 3-month-old Ford Edge titanium, and it was fully loaded. It right now is, I don't know, a little piece of metal about this big. I was removed by the jaws of life. So they had to remove me, that I was unconscious, and they basically had to peel me out of that. And this was only 5 weeks ago that they did this. I was peeled from the car, and guess who won? The damn 18-wheeler one. 18-wheeler was towing an 18-wheeler in I-35, and it was slid out of control, and I was going 60 miles per hour and went right into it. And so do I blame that 18-wheeler? Oh no, I look for the miracles in all of it. Stitches on my head and forehead, you barely even see those stitches anymore. I had a crushed chest, still do. So I can't laugh too hard, but I will if it's funny enough. 4 front teeth hanging by a thread. They have them wired right now. I get new ones. I think they start that whole process next week. Swollen and black and blue everywhere. And still smiling. Now, at the time I was smiling as though it was on morphine. But there the hankers is. There the hankers is, and this is 5 hours after the miraculous car experience. It was just absolutely amazing. What did it birth? It birthed proof of my angels being there. We all have angels. In fact, I invited your angels to come and sit on your shoulders, and I see your angel on each one of your shoulders. We have, yeah, can you feel that? Yeah. That we have angels that are always protecting us, are always guiding us. It's that what we don't know, they're right here with you. All those that have walked before you, to include your lovely 2 husbands, are right here with you, right now. That we are all surrounded by this creative, infinite intelligence, this loving, guided energy that wants to take us to everything that we want, but we have to be clear of what we want, and we have to stop thinking about the unwanted. So what else did it do? Deeper and more meaningful relationship with God. I thought I already had one. I mean, I pretty much live in the clouds and flying around with the angels all the time. I kind of feel those wings get in the way once in a while. But I even have a better relationship with God. I really understand how life plays and how we can each make life play for us. That more meaningful relationships with so many people. With my wife, with the different people, and the love and the prayers. And what prayer is we are each powerful creators. We create our own experience. That's why we're 100% responsible for our lives. And because we are these magnificent creators, with our thought, you can take your thought and wish me good health, and good health will be bestowed upon me. That's the power of prayer. And the prayer is when you're on your hands and knees, that prayer is your every moment, waking moment of thought. You're so careful, we're so careful with what we wear, aren't we? We want to make sure we wear the right stuff. We want to make sure our hair is looking good. You know, when you have a bad hair day, do you know there's only one person that knows you got a bad hair day? Who do you think that is? You! Nobody else knows, okay? We're using this valuable thought energy that creates, we can take with our thought and go and create anything in this world, and we're using our thought to create a bunch of meaningless stuff or talking about the unwanted things that we want, that we don't want. And plus, this miraculous car accident, it gave me more material for my talks. Thank you, Lord. Just when I was running out of material and I was asking the Lord, Lord, give me some material, and the Lord answered, and I want to thank you, Lord. And I don't even have to get dressed up into business casual. I can't put on a suit, so they cut a little thing on my sewing lady, she cut it up and then put it together. And so I don't even have to get dressed up for you guys. Otherwise, I would have been in a suit and tie. Kind of liking this casual, by the way. So let's get into what is all about this, about manifestation. And, finally the scientists, within the last 5 years, I don't know if you're aware of it, but they finally agreed that there's 3 steps to creation, what they call creation. So all of the scientists agreed, neuroscientists, the quantum physicists, the molecular biologists, they've all agreed that there's 3 steps to the process of creation. And so the first step, they state that all of creation starts with thought. Thought initiates all matter into form. That's their terminology. Step two, this thought then creates energy, which what we call our emotion. Most of us, especially as men in this culture, have been told don't show your emotions. By limiting your emotions, you're going to limit the amount of manifestations that you can have in your life. The amount of the prize being joy, the amount of joy is limited when you don't release your energy and allow that emotion to be there, to cry, to laugh, to be happy, to experience more joy, to be vulnerable. There's nothing like being vulnerable. Show people who you really are. You don't have to be somebody that you aren't. You just be who you are, and you're perfect the way you are. And when you read this stuff on Facebook about, oh, but we're not perfect, that's bullshit. Okay? Each one of us are perfect, and it's all working perfectly. Because as we get the things that we don't want, it then creates the things that we do want. The third step is energy creates what they call matter, M-A-T-T-E-R. So thoughts become things. Now they miss something. The scientists miss something, and they miss God in all of this. So, and I love that you're taking notes and you're writing this down, because this will help I'm a mental scientist, and this will help internalize these thoughts so that you can actually start using them and start manifesting the life of all of your dreams. So step one, they're right, thought. And step two is right, that our thought creates that energy, but that energy, so step three is that energy, you send out a signal to the whole universe. And you say to the universe, this is what I am wanting based on whatever that emotion is. So if it's bad emotion, the universe is going to give you the bad stuff. That's why stop thinking about the stuff you don't want. Because you're sending at all times this energy signal, and the universe is, so step three, so step one, your thought, goes to emotion, and step three, God receives this, your signal, and then answers immediately. So everything that you have asked for, more money, more business, more happiness, better relationships, everything that you have asked for is sitting in this energy form, waiting for who? Waiting for you. To what? And step four is to allow it, to believe it, to expect it. I call it ABE. Allow, believe, and expect. Allow it to come in. And Tanya will help you in order to manifest and do ABE, to allow it, to believe it, and to expect it. And then step five is it becomes your experience. Okay, what the scientists call matter. Do you believe that? It's the way it is. And most of you are saying that, I don't want it in energy form. I want that person next to me in bed. I want the money in the bank. Whatever that is, whatever you're looking for, whatever you're wanting, that it can all come to you as you now allow, believe, and expect it to. And it will then take everything comes from the non-physical to the physical. But our eyes are deceiving. We say, well, this is it. And so we are so often just looking at what's happening, what is, and we're not thinking. So here's a tip, and I'd like you to write this down. It'll be a glorious way for you to expand everything in your life, is that stop looking at what is and say, no, this is true. Like some people say, God darn it, Dr. Hank, would you please face reality? And I say, there is no way I'm ever going to face reality. And they go, really? And I go, yeah, because I'm going to create reality. Because that's who we are. We are the creators of our reality. And so what I want you to write down is to think about what will be. How do you want it? Start calling it the way you want it and disregard how it's currently happening, how it is. Questions about that? Comments? Amen to that? All right. Yes.
So can you give us an example
Of what will be? Yes. So I'll take myself personally. I see my left arm as being so healthy, so strong, rehabbing just almost overnight, that I see my entire body I see my chest being so strong and feeling so good, my legs being in perfect order, that I'm not going to face on what's currently right now with me. And that's why, like on these, for example, these stitches, this is clear evidence where you saw the stitches, and this was 5 weeks ago, and now you can barely see any stitches. Why is that? That's because all I do is I think about what will be. And so I'm going to give you another example, a personal one. About 15 years ago, I'm stopped for a school bus. School bus has the stop signs on, all the lights and everything. I'm stopped. Car in front of me is stopped. A truck going, ironically, 60 miles per hour, it's like deja vu, right? Comes in and hits me. And I wake up. Actually, I kind of wake up, but I don't realize it, but I'm in a coma. And I have broken my neck. And so I'm walking down the valley of death. And it was white snow as I'm walking down there, and all I see is black trees and no green on the trees at all. And as I'm walking down the valley of death, I'm asked, do you want to stay or do you want to go? And I said, I want to stay. I got this figured out. I understand how life plays now. Let me be here and teach people on how to be able to manifest all of their desires and how to be joyful, that it's not about this stuff anymore. It's about your feelings, and all you have to do is feel good. So I come out of my coma, and I find that I have a broken neck. And they have me all strapped down, and they tell me they're going to do an operation. They're going to put a rod in my head. And I'll never be able to move my head to the left, to the right, ever again. And they said I'll be in chronic pain the rest of my life because the stem of my brain is hitting my C1 and C2, and that I will never be out of pain the rest of my life. And you know what I thought? That's what I don't want. And that's what I want each of you to do, is whenever something comes up in your experience, you think about it and you say, that's what I don't want. And that's all the time you take on focusing on what you don't want. And then you ask, what do I want? And God will birth you these amazing ideas and thoughts about what will be, on how you want to be. And so I decided I wasn't going to get a rod in my neck, and I wasn't going to honor the God with the small g, the God of other people's opinions anymore. And instead, I was going to honor my opinion. And my opinion is that I'm the creator of my experience, and I can overcome anything, to include a broken neck. I left that hospital. They wheeled me out of that hospital. And so here's, and specifically an answer to your question. I remember one moment that day where I didn't have pain. And in that one moment, I just hung on to that one moment. And I hung on to that one moment, and I realized that I could have more of those moments if I just thought and felt so good about that moment. And the next day, I had a few more moments. And the next day, a few more moments. And within days, months, years, I healed myself. And it's all the power of God that we have to direct with our thoughts about what we want. Woo! We got that energy going now, baby. We are loving it. So, how to create what you want? Ask and you shall receive. And so your asking is your thought. And so your thought is only about what you want and why you want it. No longer try to figure out the how. It is not your challenge. It is not for you to figure out the how. That is God's play. As most would say, work. I never use the word work because who wants to work? We all want to play, right? So that's God's play. So my thought is what I want and why I want it. So I want good health. I want lots of business. I want lots of money. I love money. Why do I love money? Because it doesn't mean it's the root of all evil and all the crap we were brought up with. What it means is one thing. Money means more freedom. Okay? Freedom. It gives us more choices, more variety, more of the stuff that we want. I just bought some stock in eXp Realty, a new real estate company that's going to just kick it. And I just bought some stock for my grandson, my 6-month-old grandson. And that boy is going to be independently wealthy. And I love that thought, okay? I love that thought. That ask. And then step 2, again, your emotions, go to the energy. God then answers. And God's all about the how. The other thing is stop asking, well, why did that happen? One of the first things my lovely wife, Sharon, which teaches me a lot about the shit I don't want and stuff I do want, but she tells me that, she says, well, why did this car accident happen? You're such a godly guy. You're always in the clouds of the angels. Because I wanted all these miracles. I was asking the route, the journey will take you. Most of us think, I'm going to be here and I want to get there and this is the journey. But I'll show you how the journey, the journey isn't this, from this point to this point. It's this. What did I just do? Draw here? It's a heart. In love every moment of every day. And know that all of your God, your angels are guiding you, are loving you, supporting you to everything you want. So when something happens and you think, well, that's not what I want. Well, yeah, it is. It's exactly this. Like I say, it gave me more material, this thing, just for starters, right? And then the Abe, allow, believe, and expect. And then we receive, we manifest, we experience it. And that's the 5 steps of manifestation. And again, Tanya's going to show you on how to actually do that and manifest all of the things. All of your dreams are going to come true. Now, when I say that, once you get a dream achieved and manifested, you're going to want the next thing. Okay? When I made my first $1 million, I said, I want to make 2. Okay? When I got my first big client, I said, I want more big clients. So we're never going to get it done. So let's just enjoy the journey and realize, have these desires of what you want. Albert Einstein said, thoughts create matter. And this is not psychology, and I'm a behavior psychologist. This is physics. He proved it in physics, that thoughts become things. He was way ahead of his time. So whatever you focus your attention on expands. Exactly what Tanya was saying on. Whatever you focus your attention on expands. So when you think about, oh, I'm mad at this person, or I had this argument, or I don't have enough business, you know what you're going to get when you say, I don't have enough business? You're going to get more, not enough business. That's the signal you're sending out. So you don't pay attention to no business, and you say to yourself, I know more business is coming my way. I know that I'm on my path of prosperity and abundance, and I'm going to allow it in. Because we're the ones that stop it from doing. You know, like, who's the person that talks worse about you than anybody else in the whole wide world? Yeah, stop it. Okay, you're awesome, you're perfect, you're beautiful. Everything's working out just perfectly as you wanted it, and so allow it to be. So if I think about what I don't want, I get more about what I don't want. If I think more about what I do want, I'll receive more of what I want. So think about it. What do you think about? And think to yourself, like, what were you thinking this morning? Gee, I hope there isn't a lot of traffic. Guess what you're going to create? Yeah. I said, oh, I'm so happy that I'm going to get in my limo this morning, and I'm not going to have any traffic, and it's going to be fine. And I love doing that because I'm zipping along, and I look on the other side, and it's a traffic jam on the other side, going on the other side. And it happens all the time. And Sharon says, how can this be? We live in the same beautiful condo. We leave at the same time. I don't have traffic, and she does. Why? She talks about traffic all the time. Oh, the traffic is so bad. I just can't believe the traffic in Dallas. Well, there you go. You'll get whatever you want. So, yes, question.
Would you please stop manifesting traffic in my lane?
And so most of us think about what we don't want, our problems, our challenges, whatever. And it's the contrast. And again, all of creation, in other words, all the things that you want and all the things you want to create, comes first from the contrast. So bless that X, okay? Bless that time, that accident. Bless the people you didn't like. Bless them all. And as you bless them all, it will help release you and to start thinking about the things that you do want. You know, so often, something happens. So, you know, we're so trained, our mental process is so trained on, like you get home and, well, how was your day? And it's usually you talk about the bad stuff that happened, right? Well, then you just create more, and then you Facebook the bad stuff, and then, you know, you call people and you tell them about the bad stuff. And you're just creating not only bad stuff for you, but bad stuff for all your friends and loved ones. Stop talking about what you don't want. And when you discipline your mind, you will start seeing all the many blessings, such as this day is giving each one of us. So I teach people how to think about what they do want, what the contrast has birthed. And so all of us have had this contrast. All of us have our stories. And it's to take those stories and to birth those stories into the things that we do want. I love this cast, by the way. It just, you know, has a better focal point, doesn't it? Yeah. It's just another thing to be grateful about, you know? So instead, think about what will be. Think about your thriving business, your deep and meaningful relationships, how you're going to have, write this down. I'll tell you what you all want right now. Here's what you want. I want a long, happy, healthy, prosperous life. Correct? Just start from there. You don't have to make this hard at all. This is easy. What do I want? I want I want a happy, a healthy, and a prosperous life. Just start from there with Tanya, and God will lead you to the next step of what that means, and will bring you out of nothing, out of thin air, will bring you the things that will give you those points, that sentence, those things of the wanted. So problems birth desires. This world has perfect contrast. It has everything you don't want and everything you do want. And here's the power of you. That we all stand in the middle of the universe. And you say, well, that would be impossible. The middle of the universe could be, wherever. The middle of the universe is where you stand, because when you send out this thought energy, this emotion, the entire universe responds in cooperative components matching energy to that which you are thinking about. That's why you can call upon the entire universe, and you literally, each one of you, have the entire universe in order to rely on, in order to bring you everything that you want. And so this world has everything you don't want, everything you do want, and then your power of your thought. When you say, I want more money, source, universe, God, Jesus, whatever you want to say, makes more of it. It doesn't take away from anyone. Do you know there were no billionaires 50 years ago? Now we have, over 400 billionaires. Where'd the money come from? Did we import it from some other planet? No. Those people asked, I want more money, and God made it. So you can ask, you don't have to worry, believe me. We've been brought up thinking if I get, I'm taking from somebody else, but that's not how it works. When I ask, God makes more of it. Problems are opportunities of contrast of what we don't want that burst the thoughts that we do want. So contrast is required. Without the contrast, we would never know what we want. Kind of just sit. If you just sit and say, you know, if just I had everything, whatever, that, you know, you would just be existing. You don't want that. You actually want the contrast in order to figure out what are the things that I want. All creations comes from contrast. Most have emerged themselves into what they don't want, and that creates more of what they don't want. So you want to think more and more about what is it that I do want. When I was a boy, I was in church, brought up Christian. I'm an ordained minister. And but when I was a boy, I would sit in the front pew, and I would listen to the minister. And when he would say something that I didn't agree with, because children know, okay, they haven't been brought up with it, and I would be shaking my head no. And boy, my parents, after that first Sunday, they took me and they had me way back in the upper deck so nobody could see me, because I was very opinionated, because I knew what the truth was, and we all did as children, and then we kind of got all these other beliefs and got goofed up on how life plays, if you will. But one of the quotes that Christ said is, turn the other cheek. Well, I was an abused child, physically and emotionally, as a child, and so I figured what that meant is when you get slapped on one side, by golly, you just go ahead and turn your other cheek, get slapped on the other side. Well, what I didn't realize is it really meant that when I focus my attention over here on what I don't want, Christ says, turn the other cheek and look upon what you do want. Amen? Yeah. And then focus on what you do want. So bless the contrast. All the contrast is opportunities. And what is contrast? Again, those things you don't want, the things that upset you, the things that got you angry, those things that you're fearful of. Like, you know, people say, oh, aren't you fearful of speaking? Hell no, I am excited, okay? I just can't wait. There is no such thing as fear. Okay, that it is, I'm excited. There's only excited. And when you say there's only excited, that's what your truth becomes. You make your own truth. So to know what we want, we must have the contrast. Look at the problem, and again, when you look at the problem, you say, this is what I don't want, and then you ask the universe, what do I want? And you shall be answered. Focus on what you do want. You shall be answered. That focus only on what you do want. And the perfect solutions will come into your life magically. It's the what I don't know. All of that. All you have to do is ask for it to come in, and all of the known solutions will flow right into your experience. So we got our two little fun guys. And one fun guy says, hey, I've stopped thinking about what I don't want. Look at how happy he or she is. I'm a deliberate creator thinking about what I do want. We are all creators. We are all creators of our experience. It is up to you to be a deliberate creator of your experience. So, there's a little guy with magic key. Asked during the day, so a tip. Here's the easy thing. Everything is easy. This is all easy. So this 3 days is going to be magical for you. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your thinking. It has already. Your angels are around you, working you. The whole universe is upon you. And so the easy next step is just start asking yourself, what do I want next? And then be quiet. And all of a sudden, the thoughts will give on here's what I want next. I want this to be a magical moment. I want to be awakened. And I've asked for each one of you to be awakened at this event. and so you shall be. You'll be awakened to a new understanding of the magnificent and brilliant creator that each of you are. So your opportunities, see your problems as challenges that birth a more abundant life for you. Everything that happens, bless it, then leave it, and go ask, what do I want? Your desires will be realized as you think only about what you want. So as you have that energy flowing about the things that you want, it is only possible to get what you want. It's guaranteed. You are guaranteed that as you only think about what you want, you are only sending that energy, and all the energy of the universe that is cooperative components of that thought and that energy will come to you, fall into your experience, fall into your lap. Don't you just love it? That all of life and everything that I want is going to, from here on out, just fall right into my lap. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. Love your contrast. Focus on what will be and know that it will be yours. Love you all. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Woo! Power to the people.